There we go. In a moment. And I just have to stay here to make sure that YouTube is muted, because if it makes noise, it will be bad. It is not muted. That's so much better. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Now, if you're streaming from there, can you still pass host over to me?
We were supposed to be able to share hosting. Gonna look at that for a moment. And,
Still says it's recording, so.
oh, good. Sorry, I'm just loving watching myself from 20 seconds in the past. It's kind of a lot of fun. Okay, I think the YouTube thing is still working. I'm gonna leave that. And all right, we're going to be getting started in just a minute. Okay, so I've brought the chat as close to my own eyes as I can. I don't know if I'll actually be able to read it or not, but I will try, and I think Frank can probably like alert me if there's a problem, something that I need to actually focus on. Otherwise,
Testing.
That's working. If we could stay muted, that would be great. We're going to give it just another moment, and we'll get started. We will, honestly, or at least I am new to running something like this via Zoom. And so I'm not certain if we can keep people muted the way that we had intended. Just please don't unmute unless we invite, because otherwise it just gets cacophonous. It gets really confusing. And there will be a couple of, at least one that I can think of, portions during the ritual where we will invite people to unmute and just talk things out and share a little bit. But overall, this is going to be a relaxed affair. You can see I'm behind the altar, just sitting out and chilled. We are, I think we're good to go, actually. So, hi. I'm pretty sure there's no one in the room, at least, that I don't already know. But if you're watching the live stream or anything like that, can you mute that?
That was where I was going.
I'm George, and I'm here with some other members of the Seattle Temple of the Fellowship of the Phoenix, sort of doing an impromptu virtual ritual for Quietus, our celebration of winter, of quiet times, of light overcoming darkness, and of wisdom and our queer divinity that we call the Elder. Originally, we had intended on doing this live, but due to increasing pressure from Omicron, which both resulted in us thinking, should we actually do this in person? And then the decision sort of being made for us because our intended space actually canceled reservations due to Omicron. Because of that, here we are. So it's nice to have you here. It's nice in its own way. It's nice to be back and able to share with a wider audience. It is still our intent as an organization to continue doing some sort of regular virtual presence, even when we are fully back in person again. So it's nice to be able to continue it tonight. With that, unless anyone has any reason to delay further, I think we are ready to go. So thank you again for joining and for being here. I'm going to let Ko lead us in a bit of cleansing transformation.
Hello. First off, can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good. Take a moment to identify any distractions, ills that would close your heart to our celebration tonight. Call them out, softly or boldly, into the space. Name them and cast them into the air, released so that they may be transformed by our work together. May these energies be transformed and may we work in peace.
Thank you.
We've named our distractions. Let's name our intentions. Take a breath and a moment to name your intent for tonight. What do you hope to come away with? What are you here to celebrate? If you feel called, take a moment to share your intent via the chat or speak it out loud into your space.
For myself, I'm celebrating a resilient community in the face of, even when we'd rather not have to be resilient, we're here, we're doing it, and I think that's something to celebrate. So that's me. All right, thank you, Creasy. Now that we've done that, we can balance and center together. Also, am I loud enough? I just remembered that my my thing is a little far away. Good. Everyone close your eyes for a moment. Let your body find some balance and comfort. Shift around if you need to. Take a couple of breaths and just settle in. Settle into your seat, into your body, into your own space. Focus for a moment on our shared intent. Every single one of us is here towards some sort of purpose, including those of us who aren't on screen or haven't shared. We're still here for a reason. Together, we're here for community and for celebrating queer divinity and wisdom, right? So take a moment to just breathe in that shared intent. Breathe in the intent for healing, for celebration. Breathe out and let that settle into your heart. One more time, in and out. Together, we form a community that is built through the bonds of love and will. We give shape to this sacred space, a fortress in which to weave the magic of life. And
Thank you all for coming this evening. We stand together, each of us, at the entrance to the labyrinth, on top of the world's mound, the immortal foundation that supported the footsteps of our earliest spirits. Inside of the world's mound lives history and the past. So before we continue, we want to acknowledge the history. We acknowledge the history of the space that we stand on, land where indigenous peoples have gathered, lived, honored the earth for 10,000 years. Here in the Puget Sound area of Washington State, these are the unceded territories of the tribes of the Salish region. We hope to honor this land with our work tonight. In our tradition, the world mound is also the truncated pyramid, bolstered on each side by the elements, giving shape to our world. We now call those elements into this space, beginning in the north with earth. You're invited to summon these elements within yourself and within your own space and within this circle in a way that feels right to you.
With that said, take a moment to connect with Earth in a way that feels right to you. As I call the element into this space, imagine the powers of Earth entering our right. I bring in Earth, the door to strength. I bring energies of fertile fields and ancient stone, of growth and foundation. I bring the world mound and the obelisk's root as we welcome Earth into this space. Netzah Shaliach.
Netzah Shaliach.
Take a moment and connect with air in a way that feels right to you. As I call the element into this space, imagine the powers of air entering our right. I bring in air, the door to knowledge. I bring the energies of cooling breezes and wild gales, of intellect and imagination. I bring the directions and the compass roads as we welcome air into this space. Netzah Shaliach.
Netzah Shaliach.
I bring the energies of cool.
Take a moment to connect with fire in a way that feels right to you. As I call the element into this space, imagine the powers of fire entering our right. I bring in fire, the door to power. I bring the energies of burning hearths and blood-warm skin, of passion and vitality. I bring the flames of transformation and the obelisk as we welcome fire into this space. Netzah Shaliach.
Netzah Shaliach.
Take a moment to connect with water in a way that feels right to you. As I call the element of this space, imagine the powers of water entering our right. I bring in water, the door to mystery. I bring the energy of quenching rains and ocean depths, of emotions and memory. I bring the labyrinth and the misted path as we welcome water into this space. Netzah Shaliach.
Netzah Shaliach.
And now we'll call on the spirits of our tradition and ask them to open the way.
We call on the spirits of place, ancient and modern, spirits of mountain and concrete, misted forest and cold fresh waters. Reveal to us the currents of this land.
We call on Terra and Soul, twinned souls of matter and light, body and breath. Guide our magic to manifestation.
We call on the queer ancestors of blood and spirit, mighty dead who carry the torches of wisdom into our hearts and our lives. Protect us as we walk on twilight roads.
We call on the dragon, spiraled serpent at obelisk's root, source of earth and flame and deepest gold. Forge for us the crucible through which we are transformed.
We call the Minotaur, starry bull of the blackest earth, challenger and guardian. Show us the light that lives in inky shadows.
We call on the queer divine, sacred transgressors, and holiest of apostates. We call to youth, lover, explorer, lover, healer, warrior, liberator, mystic, and elder. Bless us with flame and light, with queer power and open hearts.
We call now on the beating, flaming heart of our tradition. Phoenix, illuminator and alchemist, light's source who casts no shadow, we call you down. Spread your wings and lift our hearts. Lift now the veil, open now the way.
Thank you, everyone.
Take clasp hands, left palm up, right palm down. Take a breath and let us prepare to enter the labyrinth together. You will never get lost in a labyrinth, for it is not a maze. There is one path in, and it is the same path out. Focus your attention on the journey we are about to take. Honor yourself and the others here tonight by choosing to be fully present. Open your heart to the possibilities that are present in this journey. Behold before you a large 7-circuit labyrinth of the sort represented at our altar. See the entrance before you opening to a left turn that leads into deepening shadow. Step forward. Walk the long, winding path back and forth from circuit to circuit. Each step focuses your body, your mind, body, and spirit. Note the smell of the path, the feel of the air on your skin. Let your soul awaken. Your steps quicken slightly and the turns grow sharper, and suddenly you step into a large clearing at the labyrinth's center with a large bonfire at its heart. These are the flames that we have, smoky, warm, and bright. These are the flames that we have kindled together. The fire calls for release and promises transformation. Over the crackles and pops of the burning wood, you hear the sound of beating wings from overhead and feel a fire kindle in your heart. You look upwards and see the largest, most beautiful bird that you have ever seen. You look into its eyes and see within them a familiarity which strikes you to the core, yet at the same time those eyes contain the deepest mysteries of the universe. A voice speaks within your head saying, I am thee and thou art me. The bird's feathers shimmer and flame in a myriad of colors. You watch as it circles once more and then dives directly into the fire and is utterly consumed. The fire grows and seems to reach for you. Hesitantly, you move towards the flames where the bird once was. The flames are warm but do not burn you. Instead, you are invigorated with a willpower and strength that is rejuvenating. Breathe in deeply and feel the divine move through you, aflame with the power of spirit. Feel others step into the flames and watch as they come alive with the knowledge of who they truly are. You are aware of yourself as an individual and as a part of something much larger. Feel the earth leave from beneath your feet, or leave beneath you. Soar upwards to the planets and the stars. A bird's cry pierces the world and opens your heart. Breathe in that sound. Become aware of yourself as the phoenix. You may release your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Creasy. All right. Take a breath, let that settle. But keep those flames of transformation in a corner of your mind. Keep feeling them in your heart as they call us and pull us through the rest of this rite. From those flames, we'll call on the elder to manifest within this virtual temple, and also within our community. So breathe in that light from the phoenix and focus, ignore my dog barking if you can hear it. Breathe in that light from the phoenix and focus on your desire for the divine to be here, manifested in our shared space. Breathe out and feel the name of the elder settle on your lips like a lover. See the flames at the center of the labyrinth again in your mind's eye. At the center of those flames is the figure of a person, tiny and indistinct now, but growing as they move closer. This is the elder coming from the flames to join us. See the elder more clearly as they approach, emerging from the flames. Notice their shape. Are they big and strong, lithe, wiry? What color is their hair, their eyes, their skin? What is the elder wearing? See their clothing, the colors, the textures. What are they carrying, if anything? Listen for the elder's voice. How do they sound? Do they speak quickly or slowly? What might they taste like if you were to kiss their lips, their cheek, their hand? How would it feel to embrace the elder? How does the elder hold their body? How do they move? If you notice a desire in your own body to move in your space, allow yourself to move as if you are walking or dancing with the elder. The elder stands before you now, real and present in every detail. They are close enough that you can hear the rustle of their clothing and see the light glinting in their eyes, close enough that you can feel the warmth of their breath and smell their scent. This is the elder, come from the flames at the heart of the labyrinth to teach us, to share with us. Open your hearts now to that offering. And in that spirit of shared wisdom and honor for this divinity who helps to shepherd us through the darkness towards the light, one of our members has prepared a story to share for all of us, to share with and for community, and to share in honor of the elder. So in that spirit, I'm going to mute myself and let Frank take over for a bit. And Frank's going to share a really lovely story with us.
Unmute myself. You need to
Oh yeah,
mute the audio on the computer.
will do. There we go.
Small technical hiccup, but here we go. Come, come, calls the elder. Gather round the fire, for the nights are long and cold. At the hearth fire, there is warmth, laughter, and community. Let us rejoice for having made it through the darkest night and the rebirth that has been planted and promised. Here, I will tell you a story to while away the night. Perhaps you will find humor or wisdom in the tale. Long, long ago, when the world and I were both young, there lived a hungry snake. In those days, serpents ran on 4 legs, and our little friend was one of the fastest. With so many new and exciting things coming into creation, there was always something unfamiliar to taste or experience. Leaves, flowers, fruits, insects with iridescent wings, all of these were delicious, and our friend the snake grew with each new thing they found and tasted. One day, while running through an open field of grass, Snake spotted the most beautiful bird that he had ever seen flying overhead. large wings of golden flame nearly blocking out the heavens, and the phoenix's plumage sparked and flared with a dancing flame. How marvelous, thought the snake. I have never tasted fire. How delicious that must be. The serpent was filled with an insatiable desire to follow the amazing creature, and so they did just that, rushing through the field after the bird. The snake found that the phoenix would occasionally throw off a golden ember, which would fall to the earth below. One of these embers fell directly in the serpent's path, and without a thought, they snapped it up and swallowed it whole. It burned as it traveled down into their belly, but instead of injuring the reptile, it filled them with a sense of wonder and rejuvenation. This is wonderful, they said to themselves. I want to be a creature of fire and flight as well. Surely such a transcendent creature can tell me how. Invigorated, the serpent followed the phoenix, devouring spark after spark as the flaming bird soared over the landscape. As the snake consumed each spark, the fire in their belly grew hotter, and they grew ever larger. Each time the snakes grew, they would shed their skin, scales falling away and scattering in the wake of their passage. Perhaps this will be the time I grow my own wings of flame, thought the reptile. But no, they were still landbound, and by the time Snake had reached the mountains, they were enormous. Now, strangely, the snake's legs had not kept up with the rest of their journey, and so they had spent much of this time slithering across the landscape, much as snakes do today. When faced with these enormous mountains, the serpent thought to themselves, if I had wings of coruscating light, I could fly over these mountains. Perhaps, though, there is another way for me. What Snake had spotted was a large cave at the base of one of the mountains. Closing their eyes for a moment confirmed that while the phoenix was no longer in sight, the fires within their belly called to that avatar of flame, and Snake could easily follow that pull. So, taking a chance, the serpent headed into the tunnel. And even though the cave mouth was quite large, it was a tight fit from the start, and soon they found themselves wedged in. I have forgotten how much I have grown, the reptile chuckled to themselves. I am no longer the small, swift runner that chased butterflies and beetles. Perhaps this fire that I have collected will help me. Concentrating on this internal furnace built up from the embers of the phoenix, the snake stoked the flames until they burned so hot the very rock began to melt from the heat of their body. Pushing forward, Snake continued to melt the tunnels into rock, heading deeper, ever eastward, veering a bit now and then when they found a particularly tasty stone. They found that going even deeper allowed them to find enormous cave systems, and the snake marveled at these hidden wonders as they tracked the phoenix. The enormous serpent continued the pursuit until one of these wonders, a flowing river of fire hidden deep underground. Excitedly, the snake rushed forward to taste this new thing, and in their haste, slid directly into the river of magma. Panicking for a moment, the snake quickly realized that they were unscathed. Scales that had begun to blacken in the heat from their own body were now obsidian, reflecting the light of the fires both within and without. Swallowing some of this molten rock, the snake's heart sang, this was a fire that satisfied. This was home. Snake also became aware of another great fire, larger even than the phoenix in their mind. A star at the heart of the world, singing the song of welcome for this new child of flame. Of course, the snake set off directly to explore this new realm. They uncovered faced many challenges and uncovered many mysteries along the way. But those are stories for another time. Over time in their travels, they even came upon the roots of the obelisk embedded deep, deep in the earth. And one day, the fire serpent decided to climb this obelisk and finally pay the phoenix a visit. Spiraling their now gargantuan form up through the rock and stone, up around the pillar of the obelisk to the breaking forth into the starry vastness above. Reaching the peak, they found the phoenix in its nest upon the bin stone, arranging sticks of cinnamon and nuggets of frankincense. On seeing the visitor, the phoenix greeted them. "Well, old friend, it has been quite some time since we have danced. So now, who are you? Why have you come?" The great bird's speech sounded of burning wood and simmering resin, and was filled with a cacophonous beating of 1,000,000 wings. "I am the dragon," rumbled the fire serpent, in a voice redolent with age of stone and fires of the earth's burning blood. "I am the hidden fires of creativity and potential, the foundation and the crucible. I come because I once wished for wings of flame like yours. And I would not be who I am without those first sparks. I have come to thank you." The phoenix lets out a call of laughter and merriment. "You are who you were always meant to be. There can be only one phoenix. But you have always been the dragon." Pointing westward with a wing, they said, Look out over the mountains beyond. See where we have danced. See what you have wrought upon the world." Dragon looked, and beyond the tall peaks of the mountains, saw that the land beyond now sported several new rivers. With a start, they recognized the path of the rivers as the same path they themselves had taken when following the bird over many, many years of their journey. "Even when you may not realize it," said the phoenix, "you have an impact on the world. I could never have done those and brought those rivers into existence myself. So, shall we dance again?"
Thank you, Frank. Mm, okay,
Switch.
I can do
Okay.
that. And can you hear me again? Okay, good. I wasn't sure. Thank you, Frank. I loved it. And at this point, actually, before we continue with anything, we just wanted to open up the floor to see if there's anyone attending who wants to share a thought, a feeling, an offering to the elder of your own. Perhaps there's a poem that you have ready access to that speaks of the season or our intent or the elder to you, something like that. Again, this was all very quickly thrown together. We didn't warn you here, so there's no pressure. But I want to leave just a touch of space open. If you have any thoughts to share in the middle of this ritual before we move on, or any verbal offering that you wanted to be able to give the elder in this space, please feel free. Hearing none, I'd like to share a brief prayer to the elder, And then we'll move forward with a very short bit of healing and really closing up the rest of this ritual. We had longer, more involved plans for the in-person iteration of this ritual, but fingers crossed, we'll get to do that again next year. So just take another breath, settle back in. And if you'd like, I will pause or at least go slowly here if you'd like to recite alongside. I can, please don't unmute for that, because we all know how bad that can sound on Zoom when a bunch of people try to talk at once. But I can actually put the prayer in the Zoom chat, I think.
If we can't, I can do it.
Can you hit enter? I think that's what I need. There we go. And yeah, that's that. So take a breath, ignore my muttering and all of that prep. Just take a breath, clear your mind for a moment. Maybe bring that vision of the elder back to your heart, back to the front of your mind, taking just a moment to remind yourself, what is it that the elder looks like to you? What do they sound like? How do they move? What do they smell like? And just breathe in the presence of the divine with us. Holding us warm and safe in this exceptionally cold and unseasonal winter here in the Pacific Northwest, at least. Elder, divine parent, and queer mentor, beloved of all queer families, I honor and thank you. I ask for your blessing as we walk the labyrinth, for the understanding of experience and the ability to tell our tales. Bless our community with the lessons of generations past and kindle the fire that warms us through our darkest times. Guide me through the wilds of silence and speech. Make of us beacons that can light the way for others. Elder, ruler of the sleeping forest and the roaring flame, bless us all from body to breath, from bones to blood. Open for us the roads to wisdom so that we might go forward into the world renewed by the bonds of our fellowship. We honor you always in the circle of our lives. Tus Quietus. Take another moment, take a breath. Just acknowledge that connection. From this place of queer power and wisdom, let's honor that gift with some healing in return. We will work for ourselves, the larger community, and the earth, or at least our connection with it. And we'll actually go through those rather quickly this time around. But first, we need to raise some energy in order to make that happen. So close your eyes or leave them open, whatever's most comfortable for you. Take a breath. Raise your face to the sky and see the stars against the blackness of your eyelids. Or take your mind's eye through your ceiling to see the stars above you. These stars are shining, bright, and eternal. Breathe that light, the light of the divine, the light of the phoenix from above. Breathe that down into your body. Let it center and pool in your heart. And do it again. Breathe down and into your heart. Now turn your face to the ground and the churning waters of life below us. These are the waters of the cauldron. The reflected starlight on these waters is the light of the ancestors, reflected from above, but shining from below with their own light and their own power. Breathe that light, the reflection, the ancestors. Breathe that light from the cauldron up and into your body. Let it settle again. And one more time, breathe up and let that power settle in your heart. Feel it mingle with the lights from above, and take 3 breaths to let that light cycle, to let it grow. The light of the gods and the ancestors swirling together in a pool of light. 3 breaths. Good. And from there, we're going to take 3 more breaths. That's all. With the first breath, breathe in some of that light and let it suffuse your body. Take some of that light, the light of the gods, the light of the ancestors, for yourself. Direct it where it needs to go for your betterment, for your wellness. Where is it that you could use some love and energy from these combined sources? It doesn't even have to be physical. Where could you use that in your life? The second breath will be for one another. Breathe in that light collected in your heart, and then breathe it out into this space that, while physically separate, we are sharing together spiritually. Breathe it out into that spiritual space for us and for the rest of our combined communities to partake in, to be blessed with. And the third breath, focus down to your connection with the earth. Focus on whatever point of your own body is most solidly connected. For many of us, that's probably our seat. It might be the feet, or maybe your video's off and you're lying down on your back and it's your entire body. I don't know. I'm not one to judge. Third breath is sharing with that connection between us and the earth. So for yourself, for the community, and for the earth. So quickly bring your mind back to that heart center. Take 1 breath to just feel that and let those fires stoke up a little bit more. So just 1. Feel that energy swirl, staying where it is for just a moment. And then breathe in for the healing of self. And on your out breath, just let that energy settle where it needs to be in your body, in your life, in your spirit. Now breathe in for the community. And breathe out into space. to share this blessing with everyone here and everyone who could not be here. Third breath, breathe in for the earth, for our planet. And breathe out and down into your connection with the planet. Strengthen it. Thank you. And take just a couple of breaths. Normally, not deep, just a couple of normal breaths to settle yourself back into space. If you're feeling any residual energy that you don't intend to be there, just shake that off or take another couple of breaths to really expel that. Thank you, everyone. And now we can extend that same thanks to the elder. So thank you, elder, for being here, for visiting with us, for being in our hearts. We have a lot of love for you and your divine siblings. We look forward to when we can see you physically embodied in shared space again. So we have met in your honor. This vessel is filled with all of our love. Drink, elder, and never know thirst. We honor you always in the circle of our lives. Tus Quietus. I have some cards in front of me. I'm going to do some omen taking. These spirits of our tradition have walked with us, they've worked magic with us, and they've spiritually danced with us. So let's take a moment to seek out their voices. One card, one question. I am looking for one firm lesson to take away from the elder this evening. That one. I pulled salt, which is a couple of things when we're talking about alchemical elemental salt. It is both stillness and the initial generation of life. Salt is of these three primes, salt, sulfur, and mercury in the alchemical tradition. Salt is the mother principle. It is what gives, but it is also what can allow for stillness and space. And I really like that right now personally. I feel my own need for that every winter, and frankly, I don't listen to that call enough. So not that this card is about me, but I do think that it's a good lesson for all of us in the depth of winter to remember to stop and breathe, rest, and take stock. We cannot move forward into the generative spring without having rested first. So please take this time, the remainder of the winter, for stillness as much as you're able. I'm also wanting to pull a card regarding what we should look forward to for Spirit Song, and if in the face of rest, if there is any work that we should do to prepare for the coming rebirth of the divine and the clear rebirth of the sun. Mm. And for that, I pulled the point. There's not much, you're not missing anything. It's just a big dot on the card, I promise. Focus in on what is right in front of you, I think is the message there, especially with them sort of side by side, looking at salt and then the point of place. Use the time that we have to rest to really give some attention to yourself, to what is immediately in front of you. Try to focus a little bit on the present and let the present, with all of its nonsense, at least, excuse me, oh, pardon me, let that give us something to focus on that isn't worries about the future or longings about the past. Let's take a moment to just sit quietly with where we are and move forward from there when we're ready. I think one more card. Does anyone, including Frank, anyone have a sort of a third theme for a card or a third question, something like that? Preferably related to everyone. If you need a reading, let me know. I'm happy to help, but that's not what we're doing here. If you have an idea, put it in the chat really quickly. Frank, do you have any concept? I know there's something, it's just not hitting my brain immediately. Actually, yeah, that's it. Let's pull a card for the year. We're celebrating Quietus on New Year's Day. Let's ask our oracle cards if there's a theme for what we should attempt to manifest during this year. You. Oh, how delicious. So that's Mercury. Let's try for balance, folks. Oh, okay, good to know. This is the planet Mercury. I was ready to go with elemental Mercury and salt and all of that. But still good news. Mercury is the planet of communication, but also of just generally movement, right? So as we're looking forward at the rest of this year, what can we do to better communicate with each other, and just give some focus there, right? So it's not about, we're not being exhorted into like being better communicators, do this, do that. My sense, and certainly the purpose behind my question, is just what's something that we should be focused on for the year. So keep an eye on the way that you speak. Think about how we collaborate, how we communicate, and how can we do that? How can we do it more honestly? The pandemic has been very isolating for so many of us, and just at a time when it felt like that was finally not going to be the case, here we are again on Zoom. So hopefully for this year, we can look forward to better connection, better communication, seeing one another in person again. So that's that. And now, from there, we will thank our divinities and spirits for their presence with us in this rite. So we honor those beings who have guided our rite this evening. Take a moment to focus on whatever gratitude you have for this evening and for the spirits that have attended. As I speak, or actually as Indy speaks, breathe out your blessings and your well wishes for these spiritual kindred of our hearts. Indy?
We give thanks to the spirits, beings, and divinities that have walked with us this night. Thank you for your presence and protection, for your blessings and bounty. Thank you for guiding our magic and our healing, and for holding open the way. We pledge to honor your gifts and to use them wisely. We give you thanks and honor this evening. Tus Kayate,
Tus Kayate.
Netzah Shaliach.
Netzah Shaliach. Thank you, Indy. And again, thank you to our spirits, and certainly to all of you. Thank you for being here with us and for weathering this COVID storm with us and for being flexible. We'll take a moment to thank the elements now, starting with water and then ending with earth. Indy again.
Yes. Give thanks, element of water, for rejuvenating us, for helping us share our feelings and helping us flow together even when we're physically apart. Water, we honor you always in the circle of our lives. Tus Kayate.
Tus Kayate.
Fire, we thank you and honor you for allowing us to change when times require it, to burn through the difficulties and bullshit that so often fill our lives, to warm us through the cold of winter. We honor you always, fire, in the circle of our lives. Tus Kayate.
Tus Kayate.
To air, we thank you for our capacities for wisdom, for knowledge, for understanding, for the ability to know each other and to communicate and share. We honor you always in the circle of our lives. Tus Kayate.
Tus Kayate.
And to earth, we thank you for the foundation from which to venture forth out into the world, for the shelter that you provide and the foundation for everything that comes forth from the world. We honor you always in the circle of our lives. Tus Kayate.
Tus Kayate.
As
Thank
we have, oh,
No, go ahead.
as we have honored the elements, we honor that which has been changed and invite it back into ourselves. May this transformed energy be a tool with which we work our wills.
And finally, focus again on the group as a whole. Every single one of us on this call, and those of us that we know would like to be here but could not. The full shining circle of connected lights of all of us. Feel how our community has been empowered by this work here tonight. Feel how you have been changed and empowered personally. Send some of this transformed energy into the circle, into this spiritual space with a breath. And then do that again. Take another breath to send it out to the community, the larger, wider community that could not be with us this evening. Good. This is the power of the Phoenix to transform and regenerate. Let us take the gift of this connection with us in our daily lives. Manifest your will through love. And now we go forth into the world, renewed by the bonds of this fellowship. Out of the flames, into the light. Well, good. Thank you, everyone. That's the ritual for this evening. You are more than welcome to unmute yourself now. If you'd like to share video and haven't been, you can do that as well. We have this space that can stay open for people to stick around and chat a bit. There's no hurry in that regard, but also you're not expected to. That's not necessary. If you are feeling complete, you of course may take your leave. I'm going to stop the recording and the live stream now. Or I think I'm going to do that. Oh, I can't read that from here. Frank, do you know what that says?
There was an announcement the recording was stopped.
Yeah, what you're trying to get to?
Up here.
Oh,
Which one?
top one is view stream on YouTube. Second one's copy streaming link.
Well, how do I stop it? Wait, are you still the host?
Yeah.
Maybe you stop.